Thank you for tuning in to SimPilot 2450. It would be greatly appreciated if you guys could show your support for this video and the channel by liking and subscribing so others like you can find the channel. Let's go have some fun. Thanks. Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and another flight with SimPilot 2450. Today we will feature the World Update 15 for the Nordics and Greenland area. And specifically, I thought we would focus in on the Norway area. Norway received 1 meter digital elevation data. And out of the 5 custom airports provided for the World Update, Norway received 2 of those. So I thought we'd fly from those 2 airports, featuring those airports and the beautiful scenery of Norway. So we will be departing the Leknes Airport, ENLK, and flying southeast to the Rana Airport, ENRA. And we will be flying in the Black Square TBM 850 today. So let's get started. Well, welcome to the Leknes Airport. As part of all SimPilot 2450 flights, we like to preview the airport that we're departing from, as well as the airport that we're arriving. We always use custom sceneries, and today this custom scenery is actually provided by Microsoft. It was part of the World Update 15 for the Nordics. Leknes Airport is in Norway. It's a regional airport serving the towns of Leknes and the surrounding areas. For airline service, Widerøe provides service with its Dash 8 aircraft. So let's take a little look at the airport and then we'll jump in the TBM and get started. So it's a nice airport. Fire station. Don't know if we can actually go inside or not. Looks like we might be able to. Oh yes. So very nice. Nice fire truck. Snow plows. You see the surrounding area is very beautiful. Norway is an extremely beautiful country. So with today's flight, we will most likely turn on the autopilot. I normally don't. I like to fly most of our flights by hand, or at least a good portion of our flights, especially the climb out and the descent and the approach. But today, I think just as soon as we lift off, we may engage the autopilot just so we can do some sightseeing, because this is gorgeous country. Let's see in the terminal if they've done some of the insides here. Looks very nice though. Let's slow this down a little bit. That way we can check the inside out a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little smoother. Let's go inside the terminal, check it out. Yeah, it's very nice. For me, the insides, doesn't matter. I could have airports with them or without them. As a content creator, I guess sometimes it's nice maybe to have the insides. They've really done a nice job here, though. This is a Microsoft provided airport, and outstanding job. Let's go street side and see if what they've done out here. I guess it probably looks pretty decent. Very nice. Yes, they've done an excellent job. Very, very nice. So not bad for a free airport. Not bad for a payware airport. They've done a fabulous job here. Let's go inside and we'll head out to the aircraft. Very, very nice. So you should get some nice enjoyment. Nice enjoyment. So let's head out to the TBM and we'll get started. The Black Square TBM is just a fabulous aircraft. You won't be disappointed if you purchase this aircraft. It really flies really nice, very realistic. Just a wonderful aircraft. So we've done our pre-checks already, so when we get in the aircraft, we'll be ready to start with our before start check. I'll meet you in the cockpit. Welcome to the cockpit of the TBM 850 by Black Square. We will start with our before engine start checklist. We'll close the doors and get buckled in. Let's get to the before engine start checklist. Doors are closed and latched. Parking brake is on. Come up here to the crash lever, open that up. Oxygen supply, turn that on. Starter ignition, we want those to be both in the off position. They are. Gear selector is down. We can come on with our battery. Come up here and test our horn. Fuel gauges, looks good, half tank. Auto fuel selector, let's go to auto. And we can check our shift. And what that does is that changes from the left tank to the right. So you see we're on the left tank. We can come up here, select shift, and now we're on the right tank. So that is working fine. Do an ITT test. That looks good. Let's come on with our exterior lights, telling everyone that we're getting ready to start the engines. We are in manual override. You see here, our power lever is flight idle. propeller lever is going to maximum, and our condition lever is in cutoff. So we can come on with our auxiliary boost fuel pump. That's coming on. You see we've got good pressure. We're in the green. And now we'll come on with our ignition to auto and our starter to on. Ignition to auto. Clear prop. We can go to our starter on. So we're looking for an NG of 13%. At 13%, we'll introduce fuel. So we're going to come with our fuel cutoff. Now we're going to wait until we get to 50% of the NG, and then we'll turn off our starter switch, and we'll take our condition lever and go to high. So our starter switch is coming off, and our condition lever is going to high. And we can go to our auxiliary fuel pump, put that to auto. You see we have a decrease now in the pressure. And we'll check our engine instruments. Everything is looking good. Annunciator panel, things are looking good. So we'll turn on our inertial separator. We'll come up here and we will go to main on the generator. And now we can do our gyro instruments. Turn all of those on. And our bleed air can come on to auto, and we'll start our fan, get some circulation in here. It's 59 degrees. We'll get a little bit of heat coming in. Alright, for our cabin altitude, we have filed for 10,000, so really we don't have to do anything here. Should be all set. So let's turn on our EFIS master, AP trims, and our radio master.
Center TBM 2450 IFR to Echo November Romeo Alpha, ready to copy.
TBM 2450 is cleared to Echo November Romeo Alpha Airport is filed. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.5 by squawk 0365.
TOS, system test OK.
TBM 2450, cleared to Echo November Romeo Alpha Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure is 118.55, squawk 0365. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
TBM 2450, read back correct. Good day.
Alright, well I can show you what our flight path looks like today. Here is the airport. We'll be departing runway 02, and we will be using the UGME 1C departure. I can show you that. So here's the departure. We'll be taking off to the north and then circling around, and we'll be heading southwest to UGME, and then we'll start heading over towards our arrival airport. We will be using the localizer B approach, so we can take a peek at that if you'd like. So this is what our approach looks like. We are IFR, but most likely by the time we get down here we may use the approach just to enter these mountains and the valley into these fjords, and then we'll probably cancel our IFR and fly it all by hand. One thing that's interesting about this approach is that you'll see the airport is actually over here. So we fly in on the localizer, but then we take a 90-degree turn, and actually even more than that, and turn and come in and fly the rest of the approach. So it's a fun little approach. So let me get this dialed into our GPS, and I'll get back to you in a second. Well, I got our flight plan dialed in. One of the things we can do now is we can set up our radios a little bit. As I mentioned, this localizer approach that we'll be using today, we could dial that in 111.3. You can see we have it here 111.3, but let's go ahead and put that to the active. And we also can come here, dial that in 111.3. That looks good. And another thing to notice on the approach is that it is using an NDB at several locations here. We have the Stroman NDB as the initial approach fix. That frequency is 345, so we can go ahead and put that in if we'd like. There's 3. Oops. 3, 4. Come on, girl. And 5. So there's 3, 4, 5. We'll put that active, and we'll be watching that as we've come on our approach. And let's also put the Gruben NDB in, which is 368. So we'll load that in as our next frequency. So there's 3, 6, 8. So we're all set there. You see our cabin temperatures have come up nice. Alright, so we are basically ready to taxi. We do have our clearance, so we can let's get that off. We can tell the ground what our intentions are.
Echo November Lima Kilo traffic TBM 2450 is taxiing to runway 02.
So we can come on with our taxi lights. What am I doing? Taxi lights. There we go. And we should be all set. Come off with our parking brake. Check the area. Looking good. So we will head to runway 02. There's no tower or taxiway to get down to the end of the runway, so we need to come onto the runway. So we're going to come on with our landing lights. Make sure everything is clear. And now we'll head down the runway. We'll do our run up at the end, and then we'll get ready to depart. Days are getting shorter now in Norway, so you see it's a little dark. We've got a little bit of cloud cover. We can come on with some instrument lights just to help a little bit. But isn't this beautiful? The scenery is just outstanding. And with the 1 meter digital elevation data, I think it's looking really nice. And our departure is going to take us right out around these hills, so it really should be a fun flight. As I mentioned, we will probably come on with the autopilot shortly after our takeoff, just so we can look around. I'm going to stop here and do our run up. It's light winds, and this way we can make sure there's no aircraft coming on final here. Alright, so we have our parking brake is set. We'll do our terrain test here.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Come up with our power lever to 1900.
Sync. Don't sync. 500. Pause system test. Okay.
Very finicky to get that. That's probably the closest we're going to get. We'll cycle our prop. Everything's looking good there, and we can come over to the governor switch, hold down the button. It's working well. Alright, come back on the throttle. So fuel balance, we can check to see if there's any imbalance. Everything looks good there. Auxiliary fuel pump is on auto. That looks good. So flaps coming to take off. Come on with our pitot heat. Off with our inertial separator. Trims look good. Weather radar coming on. And we'll go ahead and come on with our strobe, and we'll also indicate we are ready to take off, and we'll be departing straight out.
Echo November Lima Kilo traffic TBM 2450, taking off runway 20, departing straight out.
Here we go. We'll get lined up. Our runway is 023. We'll be rotating right around 85 knots. And we'll bring our flaps up at about 115. And then we'll pitch for 130. At that point, we'll go into 850 mode, yaw damper, and autopilot. And then we'll enjoy the scenery. Alright, everything looks good. Everything's all set. Come in nice and gentle with the power. There is a governor on this, but we want to set it ourselves, because if we are beyond the governor point, or beyond the 100%, when we switch to 850 mode, we could end up exceeding the 120. So there's 80, 85 coming back with some back pressure. There we go. Gears coming up. There's 110. Flaps coming up, 115. And now we'll pitch for 130. We're adjusting trim to maintain our airspeed. So I'm bringing the nose up, and then we're trimming away any back pressure on the yoke.
Lodo Center TBM 2450 is
a
passing
little more.
700 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
TBM 2450 2450 Moto Center altimeter 29.9 to continue to augment as planned.
Alright, so let's come on, yard damper, autopilot, and we'll climb out at about 140. Indicated airspeed hold, nose is coming down to hold that. And we're all set. We want to see some of this scenery. So our after takeoff check. Come off with our lights. On with our pulse, altitude reporting, gear is up, flaps are up. I'm going to come in with a little bit of right rudder trim just to relieve some of the pressure on the rudder I'm holding. That's looking good. So now we can go ahead and go into 850 mode. And that'll allow us 121 on the torque. So you see we're at 100. We're going to bring that up to 121. There, very nice. So that also sets us up for our climb check. 850 mode, 130 knots, 121 on the torque, 2000 on the RPM, less than 840 on the ITT. Everything looks good. Alright, so let's do some sightseeing. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at these mountains. I'm a geologist. This is a nice cirque, a rat cirques inside. Very, very nice. This scenery is outstanding. $1,000 to go. We'll be leveling off at 8,000. We should get a ATC should clear us to 10,000. I'm going to cheat and assume we're going to get the call. There, we got the call.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet TBM 2450.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. $1,000 to go. Now you can see why we wanted to set the autopilot, so we could just enjoy some of this fabulous scenery. Okay, we'll be leveling off at 10,000. can do our cruise checklist. We want to adjust for our performance. So our power lever can be anywhere from sea level to flight level 250, can be 121%, which we are. Fuel quantity and balance. There is a slight imbalance. Let's check out this turn. Oh, doesn't get any better than this. Alright, so we look at our fuel here. Just a slight imbalance. We have a little more on the left tank, so it's probably drawing from the right tank, and it is. So what we can do is hit shift, and now we'll be drawing from the left tank, which then should equalize our imbalance. Cabin pressure is good. We really didn't have to do anything here because we're only flying at a altitude of 10,000. Inertial separator is off. So that's all we need for our cruise check. We can double check here, make sure everything's off. Everything is looking good. Temperature, cabin temperature is still looking good. So one of the things we can do is, because we've got the props right at 2,000 RPM, is we can come back a little bit with the props, and that'll make the ride just a little quieter. So there, that makes it just a little bit quieter for us. Beautiful. Nice beach down there. Wouldn't you like to go to Norway? I know I would. Outstanding. Getting a little cold though.
Flight route 1336, climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Little cold.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet, white route 1336.
When we begin to fly into Rana Airport, we should be seeing some change in the color of the trees, with fall being on us. We're actually late fall now. There still should be some color, so we'll have to check out and see if we see some color in the trees. I know from my home state we had a beautiful fall. Colors were really nice. I hope you get an opportunity to fly the TBM 850. As you can see, it's just a fabulous aircraft, and it flies really nice. You'll see when we do the approach, we'll be flying that all by hand. If we're able to cancel IFR, which I'm hoping we can. I think we'll be down below this scattered cloud deck, so we should be okay. So I'll show you where we are in our departure. We're almost to the end of it. Let's bring it up so you can See, here we are. Here was our departure airport. We came out here. Now we're heading southwest. Transition at Ugme. And then it's a straight shot over to May Gap, which is our initial approach fix. Well, it's not the initial approach fix, but it is our transition into our localizer, with our initial approach fix being the NDB, the Strongman NDB. So why don't I get back to you when we're at the top of descent. Welcome back to the cockpit. We're still a good 25 miles out or so for the top of descent, but because we are coming over land now, I thought you might like to do some sightseeing with me. It is gorgeous. Again, I can show you our approach. It is the localizer B approach. And here we are. So we normally would be looking at 9280, so 5,000 feet at Petcock. Here's Petcock, 5,000 feet. And see the vertical profile, so 5,000 feet. When we get to the NDB, which is the initial approach fix,
TBM 2450, descend and maintain 6,500 feet.
we would then drop down to 3,000 feet. So let's go ahead.
Descend and maintain 6,500 feet TBM 2450.
We can start our descent. So 6,500. So now we can dial in our rate of descent. We want to come back now with the throttles. And I like to at least come back to 90. Normally you're looking for a speed of 230. We'll increase our rate of descent. Here's our banana bar. I mean, ideally what we're looking for is 5,000 feet at Petcock. They're letting us drop down a little sooner, so I don't think we need to be in any big rush. But you see, we're at 220 and 1,000 feet a minute. So on our descent checks, we've set our power. Our altimeters will be set to local. Cabin altitude, we didn't have to do anything with our cabin, so everything is looking good there. Pressurization, lights are good, fuel quantity and balance. Again, a little bit more now on the left tank, so let's go ahead and switch. Don't need to switch. We are on the left tank, so it's still drawing from that, so that should be balancing out. And we are on the fullest tank. So basically, that's it. We can come out of 850 mode. To come out of 850 mode, you need to be above 1500 AGL and less than 100% torque, and we are. So we'll come out at 850 mode. And we will flatten out our descent a little bit. We don't want to get too close to these hills. And sometimes you can't trust the Microsoft ATC. We'll be a little careful here. Feet to go. Do some sightseeing here. Nice glacier. Beautiful. Alright, where we've leveled off, you see now, because we haven't come in with our power levers, we're starting to decrease in airspeed, which is good. I'd like to get down somewhere around 180. I mean, we're still quite a ways out before we turn on to the approach, so we have time, so I'm not going to adjust the power. You see, we're almost at our altitude of 6,500. So when that's level off, we'll probably leave the throttles where they're at, and that might end up bleeding airspeed down to about 180. We'll see. For wind, we have a tailwind, a slight one, at 2 knots. So temperature, we are 2 degrees Celsius. So let's go ahead and we'll come on with our windshield, and we won't do anything with our anti-ice unless we actually see we're picking something up. But as we go through this visible precipitation, so there we're leveled off at 6,500. Boy, ATC isn't clearing us very much for this hill. I wonder if we're going to get a warning. That's why normally, you know, I wouldn't even started the descent. Guess we're going to be okay. Isn't that gorgeous? Alright, looks like we're clear from any clouds, so we'll come back off with our windshield heat. If we had come on with our de-icing, we would have also come on with our inertial separator. Now as we get up here, ATC may
TBM 2450 descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
There's our clearance to 5,000.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet, TBM 2450.
Again, we don't have to be too aggressive. That brings us here after, what is it, Maycap, and we still aren't going to be intercepting or have our next drop down to 3,000 until we get to the NDB. So we won't get another drop down until here, so we don't have to be very aggressive on this descent. I'll even shallow it up a little bit. We'll reduce the power some. Probably get down around 180. We should be picking up our localizer now, and we are 17 miles. You can see we're starting to point right at the NDB here. You see that? Beautiful. Let's see what the passengers are seeing. Very nice. So we're going to fly all the way down this fjord. Again, we're just going to be getting ready here to turn on to our approach. We can go into approach mode if we like. But with our vertical profile, again, we won't have our next step down until we get past the NDB. And at that time, I probably will cancel IFR. We'll know right when we're passing the NDB. This needle here will be pointing right to it as we go by. Coming back with the power some more now. We can come on with our lights. I'll come off with our pulse. So we're flying all the way down this fjord, right over this town, and then the airport is down around this corner. Show you where we're at. Getting closer to the NDB, and then this is where we'll begin our step down to 3,000 feet.
Vertical track.
You can see our top of descent is being marked at the NDB. Again, we're reducing the power a little bit more. As we're holding altitude, when we reduce the power, that's going to bleed off airspeed. You see it's done that.
TBM 2450 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
So we're cleared to descend to 3,000.
Maintain 3,000 feet TBM 2450.
That's sooner than what the approach dictates to us. We can look around here in the topography and we've got good visibility, so I think we could go ahead and do that. I'm going to cancel IFR now.
Moto Center TBM 2450. Cancel IFR at this time.
TBM 2450 IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 7000. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day. 1316 climb and maintain 12,000 feet.
Bodo Center TBM 2450 is type TBM 13 miles west of Echo November Romeo Alpha 4,800 feet. Request flight following.
TBM 2450 Bodo Center. Squawk tree 101.
You see we've passed the NDB.
Squawk tree 101.
Needle has
2450.
turned on us. Let's contact.
TBM 2450 radar contact 12 miles west of Echo November Romeo Alpha 4,300 feet. Altimeter 29.92.
Roger TBM 2450.
Climb and maintain 12,000 feet. White row 1316.
Let's contact the airport. We'll be landing runway 31.
Echo November Romeo Alpha traffic TBM 245010 miles west 3,800 feet inbound to land runway 31.
$14.30 we can get down to. So we'll be flying over the town, up around these ridges, and then into this valley. We can do our before landing check. Our altimeter is set. We won't need a decision height. Fuel quantity and balance is good. Inertial separator, if we're under 200 knots, and we can come on with that. Propeller is coming to full. And our lights are on. So we're all set. This master caution is because the inertial separator has come on, which we want it to come on. So here, let's go ahead and we'll take the yaw damper off, autopilot off. What I want to do is come out here just a little bit to help us end up making the turn in. But we don't want to descend below 1400. Or at least you don't want to get too low coming by these hills. So I'm going to come in with our approach flaps. And at about 120 we'll lower the gear and come in with our landing flaps. But right now we're doing okay. I'm gonna start a slight descent here. Again, we've got to come around this and into this valley. But we don't want to get too close to these hills. So again, there's the 1400. So I'm going to hold about 120. And about over this pond here, we'll probably lower our gear. And start our descent. Alright, there's 120. Landing flaps are coming down. landing gears coming down. We'll trim up now for about 85, 90 knots. We'll suspend this. And here is the runway right here. So that's looking pretty good. We'll trim for 90 and we'll keep coming around here.
500.
Looking good. I'm making small changes with the power. The power is handling our altitude and our sight picture. Trim is handling our airspeed. So now I'm reducing the power to increase our rate of descent. And see if we can get lined up. Come in with a little bit of power now to reduce our rate of descent.
500.
We want to keep this pitch picture distance here on our dashboard to our landing point, keep that about the same. If we fall below, we'll come in with a little power. If we get above that, we'll reduce power. So now I'm reducing power a little bit,
500.
reducing it some more. And some more. That's looking pretty good there. Coming back in with some power now. Coming back out with the power. Coming over the threshold, I'm going to reduce the power. Begin our flare. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Come on, baby. There we go. Looks nice. Coming up with the flaps. And we made it. So we'll get off the runway here. So there, let's conduct our after landing checks. Our inertial separator is on. We'll come off with our pitot heat. We can come off with our weather radar. Landing lights coming off, strobe lights coming off, wing flaps are up, transponder is to ground, lights are good, oxygen supply can come off. There, let's taxi in. Welcome to Rana Airport. Again, this is a custom scenery and it's done by Microsoft, and it's part of your latest World Update 15, I believe, for the Nordics and Greenland. There. So what we'll do is we'll shut down the aircraft and then we'll go out and take a little look at the airport. Alright, so let's look at our shutdown procedure. Parking brake is set. Taxi light is coming off. Go down to our bleed air. Come off with the bleed air. Off with our fan. Power lever is at idle. We need to have that at idle for 1 minute. Come off with our gyros. EFS can come off. Trims come off here. Radio can come off. Alright, we will now bring our propellers to feather for 15 seconds. And once we have the propellers for 15 seconds in feather, we can take the condition lever and bring that to cutoff. So there's 15 seconds. We'll come back with the condition lever. So auxiliary boost pumps now can come off. A fuel selector can go to manual. We can come down here to our tank selector, get it right on the tank here. Let's see if I can get it right. No, there we go. Now here we just pull it off. Okay. Inertial separator can come off. And our exterior lights can come off. The prop's done spinning. We can check our interior lights, turn our panel lights off. We can come up here to ignition, turn that off, and take our lever bar and turn off our generator and our source. And that is the end of our shutdown checklist. So let's step outside and I'll give you a tour of the airport. I'll meet you outside. Welcome to Rana Airport. This is a regional airport serving the town of Rana in the municipality of Rana in Norland County. The airport's located about 10 kilometers outside the town village of Rossville. It has airline service provided by Wilderow with the Dash 8 aircraft. Now this is a custom scenery. It is part of your World Update 15 for the Nordics and Greenland. I think this scenery is outstanding as part of a Microsoft scenery. They've really done a nice job here. We'll head down towards the main terminal area. There's a nice little sitting area outside. And then as we head to the terminal, you'll see there's a nice sitting area here. We'll go inside the terminal. It is fully modeled. You'll see they've done a nice job. Very impressive. Remember, this is a Microsoft scenery. It's included with your World Update 15. So this is going to be a great addition to your custom sceneries. We'll head down the hallway here. We'll exit out the door and check the street side of the airport. Going past security, wider row desk. Let's go outside and check it street side. Got a nice little breeze today. Feels good. Getting some color in the trees. It is late fall. So they've done a nice job modeling the street side of the airport. We can head up into the tower if you like, and you're going to have a pleasant surprise to see that they have modeled the inside of the tower, and they've done a nice job with it. This is a pretty nice control tower. So they've done a very nice job. We'll head down to the north end of the field. I am not sure what this building is. I checked on Google and it doesn't give you any specific detail. Take a look at some of the signage. It looks pretty nice. You see the pavement textures are very nice. I like the fading in the paint for the runway ahead. Again, I'm not sure what these buildings are. But a very nice job. So that will conclude our flight today. I hope you had a great time. Till next time, have a good one. Thanks. Thank you again for watching, and if you could, please show your support for this video and the channel by liking and subscribing, so others like you can find the channel.